Hey all, it's Aurelius. Welcome back to the channel. In this video, I thought I'd do something a little different, and that is to show you what is on my iPhone so that you can get a glimpse in terms of how I use my iPhone for my day-to-day, for productivity, how I take my notes, so on and so forth. So without further ado, let's get to it. All right guys, to start with, the current iPhone that I'm using is simply an iPhone 12 Pro Max. Current time of this recording is 2022 and the latest version is an iPhone 14. I personally am not one who upgrades every single year. I don't feel I need to, especially this price bracket, right? It's almost like $2,000 here in Australia or more depending on the capacity. So I feel like for what I use it for, simply note-taking, productivity, checking emails and making sure I can multitask at the same time, this is all I need. Now, the case that I'm using is from QuadLock, and I love that they've got this patented locking system where you can just lock it to your car mount, which is also a separate thing you need to buy, a separate accessory. And by the way, I'll link up these things in the description box below. All right guys, let's log in, and here we are on my homepage, and what you'll notice is there's no app icons, and basically they are widgets. And the reason why I like to set it up in this way is because I want quick access to the things that I regularly use, and it gives me a bird's eye view in terms of things like my grocery list, shopping lists, and I've also got my task list in terms of personal and also business. I could have separated this, but yeah, that's all I want. Otherwise, I'm going to have too many. Right, so starting from the top, we've got my calendar to-dos. Now, what I do is share my calendar with my wife so that we are in sync in terms of our routine, our schedule for the day, and nothing clashes. There's no conflicts. We are both aligned in terms of what's on today, what we need to get done. But that's that, and it's linked to an app called Calendars. I like to have it in a wider, or taking up the whole left to right of the screen so that I can see it. Now down the bottom is simply Google Chrome. If I want to search something really quickly, there's times when you want to search something real quick, apart from using Siri, of course, you can just create a widget for this and just click once, and then you'll get straight to the search bar. So you don't need to go click on or tap on Google Chrome and then click on the address bar to start searching. Now next to that, I've got a widget that is from Notion, right? I've got this specific page that I like to go to. This is my master YouTube content calendar, and that takes me directly to my YouTube content calendar. Quick access, so whenever I have a new YouTube video idea, potential one, then I simply add it right there. And by the way, if you're interested in this master YouTube content planner, I've got it on for sale. Link will also be in the description box below. Next up, we've got a couple of to-do lists. This is powered by Things, so it's an app on iOS only, and also, of course, Mac OS. What I've created is two different lists. I've created one specific one, dedicated one for my shopping list. So I've got a couple of things there I need to purchase next time I go to the shops. The one next to it is my main to-do list. So these are the things I need to try to complete today. Otherwise, that gets moved on to the next day. So if I click that, tap that once, you can see some of the things I need to do. Otherwise, I can, just click the plus button if I've got a new thing to do. And then I might put that into the inbox rather than something I need to do today, so that it can be in the queue and I can arrange it by priority. All right, swiping to the right, I've got access to things that are updated on a regular basis, things like the forecast. So this is the current weather. Below that, I've got a Gmail widget where I can quickly compose an email. So one tap and then that will take me to a new email, or I can search my emails in the archive by clicking or tapping the search in emails address bar right here. Swiping up, I've got my favorites. This is from my Notion account, so anything that I've favorited ends up right here. So I've got things like my startup idea, social media content calendar, testimonials. So these are things I regularly turn to in terms of my Notion account. Now below that, I've got radar, forecast, and so I can see if there's rain coming in real time. Before I move on to some of the apps that I use, you'll see down below, I've got phone call, you've got Google Chrome, Google Maps, since I use it regularly whenever I need to navigate when I'm driving. I've also got quick access to photos and videos, so whenever I need to take a snap, tap that once. Moving on to the right, I've got some of the app icons finally. But you'll see down below right here, I created a shortcut to create a new calendar event. So if I tap that once, the calendars app will execute and you'll see I can start adding that event. Let's put in demo and tap done. And then it will take me to the date and time I want it to be scheduled for. And all I need to do is click on save. All right, a few other things. We've got notes, messages, calendar, the default Apple calendar, just so I can see what the date is right there. A LastPass, which is my password manager. Save all my passwords in LastPass. Highly recommended if you've got multiple logins, which most of you have. Got WhatsApp, calculator, socials. So in socials, I've got TikTok, Twitter, Facebook, Messenger, LinkedIn. I don't want to see my notifications individually. That's why I simply organize it into one folder in social. And then on the right of that, I've got team. So anything that deals with my contractors, some of my people in my team members, it's all right here, communication wise. Then we've got calendars, the calendar app system that I use, Notion, Google Photos, and the normal Photos app, Gmail, Instagram, Spotify, YouTube Studio, and YouTube. With my Spotify right here, this is currently the playlist that I'm listening to, is my own playlist called Stoic Sounds. If you're keen on chilled music, electronic music, future garage, feel free to subscribe to this. Link will be in the description box below. I've also got 2 videos in the work with me kind of theme, so if you need a virtual accountability partner, feel free to watch those, which I'll also link below. And this follows a Pomodoro timer, so 25 minutes on, 5 minutes off. But that's the format that I recorded in, and so some of this music is featured in this playlist as well. So as you can see, nothing fancy with this second page. Now moving on to the next page, we've got some utilities and some security and smart apps or smart device powered apps. All right, so we've got Grid Connect, Casa, and Google Home, Citus Link. This all has to do with smart tech. So whenever I need to turn on my studio lighting, all I need to do is just tap on Grid Connect. And then as you can see, I've got my office power board open or turned on. If I tap that once or if I tap go to it, I can turn off or on individual lights. So let's say the key light, we can turn it off. Falcon eyes, we can turn it off. Background lighting, so on and so forth. Other things that are powered by Grid Connect, we've got my coffee machine, I've got a guest room fan, you can see the icon, and the master bedroom fan in the house. So that's what Grid Connect's used for. Google Authenticator, that's a security app, of course, some of you already use it, and it's just plain old things. You've got settings, contacts, app store, clock. I use a Ring device as well for my doorbell. Arlo Secure, all my Arlo devices, basically the cameras that are outside my house, and NordVPN. So if I want to turn on a VPN for security reasons, I can also turn that on. I've got a subscription with them. Apart from that, what you'll see as well, these shortcuts that I specifically created so that all I need to do is just tap it once. And in this case, I've got a 2-minute timer. Now below the timer, I've got 2 shortcuts that are linked to my day 1 journaling app. So I've got one for 5-minute AM journaling, gratitude kind of prompts, and I've got another for the PM, so nighttime before I go to sleep. But let's take, for instance, the 5-minute AM journaling prompts. And what happens after I tap it is I've got 3 different prompts. I've got I'm grateful for, I'll just list down all the things I'm grateful for, and what would make today great, and daily affirmations. So that's what the 5-minute AM is. Now the 5-minute PM are simply prompts such as 3 things that happened today. So I'll just list 3 things, and then how could I have made today better? All right, moving on. On the right, I simply organize all my apps into these folders. Now I know you can simply swipe right and then you've got pretty much everything in its own category or topics. You've got creativity, utilities, productivity, and finance, but I don't like to have multiple windows or screens right here. The reason why is because most of the time when I want to find an app and start it, I simply swipe down and then search for it. So let's say Safari, that's all it takes. So rather than going to one of these apps and finding it on your pages or one of them, rather than doing that and wasting time, simply search for it. Going through a few other apps that I have here. So let's go to creativity. I've got a few things that help me create content, social media content that is. I've got InShot, which is the app that I use to create some of my shorts, some of my TikToks and IG Reels. Lightroom for photography, Premiere Rush, not so much these days, and a couple of YouTube apps to help me in terms of researching and keyword research on the go. And what's a phone without the Canva app? In my opinion, all phones should have Canva built in. And you may or may not be thinking, do I play games on my iPhone? The answer is yes, but I only play one game, and that is Call of Duty Mobile. I don't want to waste too much time on games and things that are not productive, but whenever I do want to unwind, and let's say it's a weekend, I've got a bit of time free, I simply play Call of Duty Mobile. A few other apps that I install on my iPhone include some entertainment apps such as Netflix, Disney Plus, Prime Video. Like I said, I don't waste too much time on these things, but it's just installed whenever I do need it, or if my daughter wants to watch something on the go, I simply tap it and away we go. But let's swipe back because I've organized some of my apps into better categories that are more understandable to me. Some productivity apps. We've got Things, which is the to-do list, task list app that I use. We've got Adobe Scan, so whenever I need to scan some documents and send it away via email, then I use Adobe Scan. Got Zoom, got Flocked, which adds spaces on Instagram captions, but I think you don't need it these days. We've got Bear, which is a writing app, so it helps you write. Also counts the words that I use, the characters, a number of characters, things like that. Got Snapper. I've got a video on Snapper. Link will be in the description box below, but it helps you take screenshots and automatically puts like nice backgrounds for you. So check that out. Got TubeBuddy, vidIQ, which we've covered. Some other shopping apps right here. Nothing fancy there. We've got photos and video. So Rode, Central, which is the current mic that I'm using, so I can basically connect it up and adjust the settings using that. A couple of other things, well-being, we've got Day One, which is a journaling app. Motivation, so some motivational quotes I can go to whenever I need to read them. And then we've got some transport apps. Food, education, so in terms of education, I use Blinkist for book summaries, really handy. Got a yearly subscription with them, and whenever I don't have time to read, I simply look at and sometimes listen to some of the audio summaries. Elevate, which is good for brain training, if you haven't heard of it. Got Kindle and Readwise as well. Go back to the top, we've got some Apple apps that were already pre-installed. I don't usually turn to these. I simply just put it all into one folder. Next to that, we've got some finance apps. So I've got my Wise account access and also Stripe, which is what I use for accepting payments online. And next to that, we've got some kids apps. So this is for my daughter, so we can do some of her homework on the go as well. And a couple more, some Google apps that are organized into its own folder right here. And then outsource, so whenever I need to outsource or find new contractors, I go to Fiverr, Airtasker, Upwork as well. But apart from all that, that is pretty much it. Pretty simple. I try not to install too many apps that will clutter my iPhone. Just like to keep it a bit more minimal, more simple and very essential. So anything I feel like I haven't used in the past, let's say 6 months, I remove it, I uninstall it. But yeah, that is about it and what's on my iPhone and how I use it on a day-to-day. As you saw, nothing too fancy that you probably haven't seen. My intention whenever I, organize my iPhone is to make sure I have quick access to the things I use regularly. So if it's going to save me a few seconds each day, a couple of minutes each day, then that is what's important. But otherwise, if you enjoyed this video, be sure to give this video a like, and I look forward to sharing the next video with you. Take care for now, and I'll see you in the next video.